So let's do 1 and 2 together, okay? So in number 1, we are evaluating the function. So if you want to write at the top of your page like 1-1 worksheet or 1-1 functions worksheet, whatever you want to say, so then you have a notice to what it is. The first problem, we're going to plug in 6. So remember how a function works. It is an input machine. So where the t is, we add 2, then take the absolute value. Now, for plugging in a positive, that's nice. Now, I like to actually write it underneath the original function. So I have that original function as a reference point. So we're going to take out the original input of t. We're going to replace it with an input of 6. Now, for an absolute value of a positive, that positive 8 is going to stay an 8. Just remember the function of an absolute value is to make whatever's inside's answer positive. So make sure that it's not the pieces that are inside, but the final answer becomes a positive. And so our answer would be 11. Now, it's not a bad idea to think of that as an ordered pair. I inputted 6, I got out 11. Now, for this worksheet, write it as an ordered pair because I want to get you used to the idea because eventually we will graph some of these things. And so thinking about how it would look on a graph, that would be the 0.611. Everybody good with number 1? Okay, let's jump over to number 2. Here we have an exponential function, which you probably explored in Algebra 2 a little bit, I would assume. But when you explored it, I'm not sure how much you got to logarithms and exponentials, but we will explore some of those things in this class. This time we have an a function, g of a, and then we're going to put our a value up into the power before we do anything with the power. So g of 1, like I said, it's a really good idea to just put it underneath it so it's really clear as what's happening. You're going to follow order of operations up in that power, so that would be 3 minus 2, or to the first, which is great. Anything to the first power is that thing. And so I input 1, I got out 3. So that is probably pretty straightforward. Once you plug it in, you do have to follow any of your rules of order of operations. So you guys good with number 2? Okay, now let's jump to one where it's a little more difficult. And they each kind of have their own funky parts to them. But I want to start inputting some values into the function. So let's take a look at 11 and 12. Okay. Now this time we're inputting originally an n, and then we are replacing it with 3n. So anytime you're replacing a function variable with a brand new variable or expression of some sort, just use parentheses where the original n was sitting. So our original n was here. I put a little parenthesis to have a spot for my input to show up. So put your input right there. So take out the original input n and replace it with a 3n. And then for these, you can't simplify much, right? You just simplify as much as you can and stop. So our simplification would be 12n plus 2. So you can still write that as an ordered pair. If I input 3n, I am left with 12n plus 2. Okay? So, you're just inputting a function per se. Okay? Everybody okay with 11? Let's do 12. Now for 12, same thing. Rewrite the function underneath where the original function a was sitting. In this case, I'm going to put an a plus 4 in parentheses. Now this one, you don't need the parentheses too much because of the fact that you are, it's just an a sitting there. So that's just a plus 4 plus 3. Or a plus 7. And so if I input a plus 2, I get a plus 7. Or a plus 4, I'm sorry. don't know where I got the 4 one place and not the other, make that a 4. There we go, that probably makes more sense. So we input a plus 4. We get a plus 7. Now, I do want to add 2 problems on, so could you please add number 15? F of x equals x squared minus 2x. And we want to find f of y minus 1. Okay. So that is problem 15. Let me zoom in there so you can see it. Okay. So for problem 15, I still do it the same way, but there's just a little piece of it I want to talk about. Okay, so underneath it, I would still put your y minus 1. I would still put parentheses where the original input, so in this case our input was x, where the original x is sitting, I put a parenthesis. And in that parenthesis, I'm going to put the new input, which is y minus 1. Now, the reason I wanted to add one like this is because I wanted to talk about this piece right here. If you are squaring that, that is y minus 1 times y minus 1. Make sure to actually remember that you have to FOIL it or distribute, okay? So to multiply those, we have to distribute the y to both pieces. We have to distribute the negative 1 to both pieces. So that would be y squared, excuse me, minus y plus 1. And then here we have our negative 2 needs to distribute. So that would be negative, and make sure the negative goes with it. So that'd be negative 2y plus 2. And then it's just a matter of making it prettier. I try to always keep it in descending order, high power to low power, because there's some things we're going to do with graphing eventually where that descending order is helpful. So just if you get into that habit, and it helps you keep it organized too. The only y squared is y squared. That's our highest power. The next things we've got are a negative y, and a negative 2y, which is a total of negative 4y. And then we do have one more set of like terms, the plus 1 and the plus 2, for a total of plus 3. So our ordered pair looks a little weird, but if I input y minus 1, I should get out, and maybe let's put a parenthesis. If I input y minus 1, I get out y squared minus 4y plus 3. So that is still somewhat an ordered pair. Input, output, any function can be written like that. Everybody good with 15? Okay, I'm going to put this down here. I want to show you what your 16 is that you want to add, okay? So add 16. We're going to make it h of x is x squared minus 3x plus 7. And I want you to, sorry, my 7 doesn't look very good. I have a crack in my iPad right there. So one day I'll get a new iPad. Plus 7. And let's find h of x plus 3. Okay? So that's it. You have all class to work on this. Go get it done and turned in by the end of class. Just take a picture of it. If you don't, take it for homework and try to turn it in tonight. Same way, use your camera on your phone or something to take a picture of it. Any questions? Everybody good with that? Okay, so there you go.